P. Diddy speaks up in court as defense shocks case with no witnesses. In a move no one saw coming, Sean Diddy Combs finally broke his silence in court, but just as the room braced for fireworks, his defense team pulled a jaw-dropping twist. They're calling no witnesses at all. Is this legal strategy genius, or a gamble that could cost him everything? In a courtroom moment that felt more like the final scene of a high-stakes thriller than a legal proceeding, Sean Diddy Combs finally stepped forward and broke his silence. Not with a grand statement or emotional plea, but with something far more chilling. Calculated calm. And then a silence so loud it echoed across the nation. Just as cameras and critics braced for an explosive showdown, Diddy's defense team unleashed a twist no one saw coming. They would not be calling a single witness. Not one. No defense testimony, not even from the man whose entire career has been built on commanding the spotlight. It was a move that stunned legal analysts and rattled a case already soaked in tension. A move that said, we don't need to say a word, because you haven't proven a thing. The moment Diddy stood in court, all eyes were on him. The courtroom, packed wall-to-wall with press, observers, and curious onlookers, fell into an eerie silence. And then, in the most understated yet powerful way imaginable, he spoke. His words were brief, too brief for anyone's satisfaction. But it wasn't what he said that stirred speculation. It was how he said it. Measured, controlled, emotionless, or just tired of the world trying to decode him? No one could tell. He didn't speak to the cameras. He didn't speak to the public. He spoke like a man who knew something everyone else didn't. Or a man with nothing left to say. And then, in a flash, the defense flipped the table. No witnesses. No testimony. No rebuttal. The team that had been quietly watching as the prosecution laid out weeks of accusations and evidence had decided to play a different game entirely. They weren't here to argue. They were here to dismantle, and they believed the prosecution had already done most of the work for them. In legal circles, it's called a silent defense. It's rare, it's bold, and it's the ultimate bet. That a jury will look at the facts, look at the holes, and realize the story doesn't hold. But it also means giving up the chance to shape the narrative. No alternative version of events, no heartfelt testimony, no emotional counterstrike. Just silence. The prosecution, for their part, had built a detailed timeline of accusations. Their case was long, emotional, and according to them, airtight. They walked the jury through every text, every call, every private moment they claimed added up to a bigger truth. But Diddy's team remained still, quiet, patient, and now finally defiant. As the prosecution rested, the defense stood tall and simply said, no witnesses. It was the kind of moment that divides history. Some called it legal brilliance, others said it reeked of desperation. So what's the strategy? According to insiders, Diddy's lawyers are banking on one thing. Doubt. Not denial. Not defense. Just reasonable doubt. In the American legal system, the burden is on the prosecution, and the defense is under no obligation to say a word. By refusing to play the game, Diddy's team is saying, you haven't won, because you haven't proven anything. But the risk? The jury might feel misled, might feel Diddy owed them an explanation, might want to hear something, anything, from the man behind the mogul mask. Outside the courtroom, the internet lit up in flames. Diddy Speaks trended within minutes. Some fans rallied, praising his stoic confidence. Others accused him of hiding behind silence. A few celebrities dropped cryptic comments on Instagram, and industry insiders whispered about what this all really means for the bad boy empire. Is this the fall of a legend, or the rebirth of a survivor who's outlasted every scandal thrown his way? Because let's be honest, this isn't just about guilt or innocence. This is about legacy, about power, about whether one of the most influential men in music will walk out of that courtroom untouchable once again, or face a reckoning years in the making. Diddy has always lived in a world of noise, flashing lights, press headlines, #1 hits, and parties that never ended. But now, in the fight for his name, his freedom, and everything he's built, he's chosen silence. A silence more deafening than any mic drop. And now, the weight of everything rests with 12 strangers behind closed doors. The jury. Will they see the silence as strength or as surrender? Will they question the prosecution's gaps or fill them in themselves? One decision, one verdict, could end it all, or give Diddy the kind of comeback story that Hollywood couldn't even write. The verdict is coming, and when it does, the music mogul who once ruled the charts may find himself charting a new future, one he never expected.